I stand at the edge of my own wedding reception, watching my new mother-in-law tap her crystal champagne glass. The sound pierces through the murmur of conversation, and my stomach knots. Something in Vivian's eyes makes me want to grab Ryan's hand and run. My name is Arya, and this should be the happiest day of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, Vivian's voice carries across the garden with practiced elegance. I'd like to propose a toast to the interesting couple before us today. She pauses, her smile sharp as a blade. When Ryan first brought Arya home, I must admit I was surprised. After all, we had such different expectations for him. The crowd shifts uncomfortably. Ryan's hand tightens around mine, but he says nothing. Always says nothing when it comes to his mother. But here we are, Vivian continues, her gaze fixed on me. Ryan, darling, you've always had a charitable heart, taking in strays, helping the less fortunate. Remember that mangy cat you insisted on keeping when you were 12? She laughs, and a few nervous chuckles follow. I suppose some habits never change. My cheeks burn. The pearl necklace Ryan gave me this morning feels like it's choking me. I catch my sister Sophie's eye across the room. She's half rising from her chair, fury written across her face. To the happy couple, Vivian raises her glass. May Ryan's generosity continue to lift up those who weren't blessed with the advantages he's enjoyed. And Arya, dear, she turns that razor smile on me again. Do try to remember where you came from and where you are now, Titita. The silence that follows is deafening. My father, Thomas, is gripping his chair so hard his knuckles have gone white. My mother, Linda, has tears in her eyes, not the happy ones she had during the ceremony. Ryan finally speaks. Mother, that's enough. But his voice is weak, uncertain. Oh, darling, I'm only teasing. Vivian waves him off. Surely Arya can take a joke. After all, she'll need a thick skin to survive in our world, won't she? I feel the eyes of 200 guests burning into me. The country club members, the business associates, Ryan's extended family, all watching to see how the girl from the wrong side of town will react to being publicly gutted. Actually, I hear myself say, standing up, my voice is steady, surprising even me. I'd like to thank Vivian for that illuminating toast. I raise my own glass. You've made things very clear. Vivian's smile falters for just a moment. She wasn't expecting me to speak. To new beginnings, I continue, and to finally understanding exactly where I stand. I drain my champagne in one go, setting the glass down with perhaps more force than necessary. The rest of the reception passes in a blur of forced smiles and whispered conversations that stop when I walk by. Ryan keeps apologizing, but his words feel hollow. He doesn't understand that his silence during his mother's speech said more than any apology could. Later, as we're leaving for our honeymoon, I catch Vivian speaking to Derek, her business partner. It's nothing personal, she's saying, but someone had to put her in her place before she got too comfortable. I slip into the car, my wedding dress rustling against the leather seats. Ryan starts the engine, already launching into another apology about his mother's behavior. But I'm not listening. Instead, I'm thinking about the look in Vivian's eyes during that toast, that mix of contempt and satisfaction. She thinks she's won, thinks she's shown everyone exactly who I am and where I belong. But she's wrong. That toast didn't break me. It awakened something. As we drive away from the reception, I'm already planning. Vivian wanted to show everyone who I am. Fine, I'll show her exactly who I can become. This isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of hers. The honeymoon glow lasted exactly 3 weeks. That's when the first oversight happened. My name mysteriously missing from the guest list at the Hamilton family's annual charity gala. It must have been a clerical error, Ryan says, adjusting his bow tie in our bedroom mirror. Mother's assistant is new. I watch him from the bed, still in my bathrobe, like the clerical error that left me off the country club membership application, or the one that forgot to include me in the family portrait session. He doesn't meet my eyes in the reflection. I'll talk to her about it. Don't bother. I stand up, letting my wedding ring catch the light. We both know Vivian's assistant doesn't make mistakes. The door closes behind him with a soft click. Through the window, I watch him pull out of our driveway in his Mercedes, a wedding gift from his mother. Another reminder of where I stand in the hierarchy of Vivian's world. My phone buzzes. It's Sophie. Mom and Dad want you over for dinner tonight. At my parents' modest house, the tension is thick enough to cut. Dad's pacing the kitchen, while Mom serves her signature lasagna, comfort food for uncomfortable conversations. She's isolating you, Dad says, his fork stabbing the pasta. First the wedding toast, now this. It's a pattern, Arya. Thomas, Mom warns, but her eyes are worried. What? We're all thinking it. That woman's trying to push our daughter out of her son's life, piece by piece. I push my food around the plate. Ryan says he'll handle it. Sophie snorts, like he handled the toast or the country club thing. She leans forward. You know what Derek told me at the coffee shop yesterday? I look up. You talked to Derek? He didn't know who I was, but he was meeting someone, talking about how Vivian's planning to protect the family interests by having Ryan sign some new trust agreement, something about limiting spouse access. The lasagna turns to ash in my mouth. Dad's face darkens, but before he can speak, my phone chimes. It's a group text from Vivian to the family. Reminder, Margaret's 75th birthday dinner this Saturday. Black tie. Private room at LeBlanc. Family only. A second later, another message. Ryan, darling, please come early to help with arrangements. No mention of me. Not even a pretense this time. That's it. Sophie stands up. You need to fight back. And do what? I push my plate away. Throw a fit? Prove her right about the classless girl who married above her station. No, Sophie's eyes gleam. You need to beat her at her own game. You're smart, Arya. Smarter than she thinks. Use that. Later that night, I return home to find Ryan in his study. Papers spread across his desk. He looks up, guilty. Hey, I was just going through some family business stuff. I lean against the door frame. The new trust agreement. He freezes. How did you? Does it matter? I walk over, picking up one of the documents. Were you going to tell me before or after you signed away my access to our shared future? It's not like that, he starts, but I cut him off. Then what is it like, Ryan? Explain it to me. Explain how your mother's systematic campaign to erase me from your life is not like that. He stands, runs a hand through his hair. You don't understand the pressure she's under, the family name, the business. You're right, I say quietly. I don't understand. I don't understand how my husband can watch his mother destroy his marriage and do nothing. I turn to leave, but his voice stops me. Where are you going? To get ready for Margaret's birthday dinner. But Mother said, I know what she said. I look back at him, and I'm done listening. In our bedroom, I open my laptop and start searching. Vivian thinks she can write me out of this family's story. Fine, but two can play at that game. Sophie's right. I'm smarter than Vivian thinks. And if she wants to protect family interests so badly, maybe it's time I took a closer look at exactly what those interests are, starting with why Derek's been making monthly visits to offshore banks. Margaret's birthday dinner becomes a battlefield. The moment I walk into LeBlanc, Vivian's fez freezes mid-laugh, her champagne glass suspended in the air. The private dining room falls silent. Darling, she recovers quickly. I believe there's been a misunderstanding about the guest list. I smile, channeling her own razor-sharp sweetness. No misunderstanding. I'm exactly where I should be. Margaret rises from her seat, her arthritis-twisted hands gripping her walker. Vivian, stop this nonsense. Arya is family now. Something flickers across Vivian's face. Pain, maybe fear. It's gone before I can be sure. Ryan pulls out my chair, but his hands are shaking. The tension crackling through the room makes the crystal chandelier seem ready to shatter. Actually, Margaret continues, settling back into her seat. This reminds me of another family dinner years ago, when you first brought Charles home, Vivian. Vivian's knuckles whiten around her glass. Mother, please. Your father's family treated you horribly. Margaret says, her voice carrying despite its age. Called you a gold digger. Said you weren't good enough, remember? The revelation hits me like a physical blow. I look at Vivian, really look at her, and for a moment, I see something else behind the perfect makeup and designer dress, a shadow of another woman who once sat where I'm sitting. That was different, Vivian snaps. Was it? Margaret's eyes are sharp. You worked as a waitress. Charles came from old money. His mother tried everything to drive you away. Derek clears his throat uncomfortably. Perhaps this isn't the time. It's exactly the time, Margaret cuts him off. Because I watched my daughter transform herself into exactly the kind of woman who once tried to destroy her. The waiter arrives with the first course, his professional smile faltering at the tension. Nobody touches their plates. I protected this family, Vivian says quietly, dangerously. Everything I've done, every sacrifice. Like the sacrifice of sending Charles's family those photos. Margaret's words land like bombs. The ones that ruined his father's political career. Ryan's head snaps up. What photos? Ancient history, Vivian stands abruptly and completely irrelevant. But I see it now. The blueprint of her success, the foundation of her power. She didn't just marry into this world, she conquered it, destroyed those who stood in her way. You're right, Mother. Vivian's voice has gone cold. I learned from the best, from those who tried to destroy me, and I learned well. She turns to me. So believe me when I say, you have no idea what you're dealing with. Actually, I pull out my phone, opening the offshore banking records I'd discovered. I think I do. The color drains from Derek's face. Vivian goes very still. Monthly transfers to the Cayman Islands. I continue. Strange patterns in the company's charitable donations. It's amazing what you can find when people think you're too stupid to look. You're making dangerous accusations, Derek warns. No, I correct him. I'm making observations. The accusations will come from the IRS if these records end up on their desk. Ryan stands up looking lost. What's going on, Mother? Nothing, Vivian says sharply. Your wife is trying to cause trouble, like always. Like you caused trouble for Charles's family? I press. Is that why he left? Because he discovered what you really are. The slap echoes through the room. My cheek burns where Vivian's hand connected, but I don't flinch. Mother, Ryan shouts, finally finding his voice. Margaret's quiet voice cuts through the chaos. You've become everything you once hated, Vivian. Vivian grabs her purse, her perfect composure cracking. This dinner is over. Derek, my office, first thing tomorrow. She pauses at the door, looking back at me. You want to play this game? Fine, but remember, I've been playing it longer. After she leaves, Ryan turns to me, his face a storm of confusion and anger. What have you done? What you wouldn't, I answer. I fought back. Margaret reaches across the table, her wrinkled hand covering mine. Be careful, dear. Revenge has a way of changing people. I should know. I watched it change my daughter. I looked down at the banking records on my phone, then at the door where Vivian disappeared. The woman who crawled her way up from nothing, who destroyed her enemies, who became the very monster she once fought. Is that what I'm becoming too? The suitcase lies open on our bed, half packed with whatever I could grab in 10 minutes. Ryan stands in the doorway, his face a mask I no longer recognize. So that's it? His voice is flat. You're running away? I fold another shirt, focusing on the crisp edges. Running implies fear. I'm choosing to leave. Because of what happened at grandmother's dinner, Mother apologized. No, I correct him. She sent a formal note through her secretary, expressing regret for any perceived impropriety. That's not an apology, that's damage control. The bedroom feels smaller than usual, like the walls are closing in. Through the window, I can see Vivian's car pulling up our driveway, right on schedule. She's here to explain everything, Ryan says, about the offshore accounts, about Charles. Like she explained about the trust agreement you were going to sign? I zip the suitcase closed. Or about how she's been systematically pushing me out of your life. A knock downstairs. Ryan doesn't move to answer it. You're becoming just like her, he says quietly. The words hit harder than Vivian's slap ever did. I turn to face him fully. What? The investigating, the threats, the ultimatums. You're fighting her by becoming her. Before I can respond, Sophie appears in the doorway, slightly out of breath. Don't go anywhere. You need to see this. She pulls out her phone, pulling up an email. Remember how I said I'd look into Charles? Well, I found something. Something big. The document on her screen is old, but clear enough. A newspaper article from 25 years ago. The headline reads, "Local business owner dies in suspicious car accident." That's Charles's father, Ryan says, moving closer. Read the date, Sophie urges. I do, then I read it again. This was 3 days after those photos Margaret mentioned, the ones that ruined his political career. Keep reading. The article mentions brake failure, a steep road, no witnesses, and at the bottom, a quote from the grieving family's spokesperson, Vivian Hamilton. She didn't just destroy his career, I whisper. We don't know that, Ryan interrupts. But his voice shakes. Another knock downstairs, more insistent this time. There's more. Sophie scrolls down. Guess who else died in a car accident with suspicious circumstances? The investigator who was looking into the campaign finance irregularities that those photos exposed. The room spins slightly. I sit on the edge of the bed, my packed suitcase forgotten. Arya, Vivian's voice carries up the stairs. We need to talk about this situation like adults. Ryan moves toward the door, but I grab his arm. Don't, please. He looks down at my hand, then at the article still displayed on Sophie's phone. For the first time, I see real fear in his eyes. What do you want me to do? He asks. Choose, I say simply. For once in your life, choose. Footsteps on the stairs. Sophie positions herself between me and the door. I can't just, Ryan starts. Yes, you can. Because if you don't, I'm walking out that door. And unlike Charles, I'll make sure I'm not alone on any steep roads. The footsteps reach our floor. Ryan looks at the door, then back at me. In that moment, I see every choice we've ever made, every compromise, every silence. And I realize this isn't just about saving my marriage anymore. It's about survival. Ryan? Vivian's voice is closer now. Darling, is she up here with you? Sheh. He takes a deep breath, and I watch my husband choose. No, mother, he calls out, his voice steady for the first time in weeks. She's not, and neither am I. He grabs my suitcase with one hand, my arm with the other. Sophie, is your car out back? She nods, a slow smile spreading across her face. Then let's go, he says, all of us. As we slip out the back door, I hear Vivian calling our names. But for once, she's not the one in control. For once, we're writing our own story. And this time I'm not running away. I'm running towards something much more dangerous. The truth. The motel room feels like a war room, with papers spread across every surface. Sophie types furiously on her laptop while Ryan paces, phone pressed to his ear. I'm staring at a photograph I found in Margaret's old albums, Vivian and Charles on their wedding day, looking young and in love, before everything went wrong. Derek's not answering. Ryan hangs up. But his secretary said he cleared his schedule for the next week. Emergency meetings with the board. Sophie looks up. They're moving money, fast. I've tracked 3 large transfers to different offshore accounts in the last hour. They know we know. Ike, still studying the photograph. There's something in Vivian's eyes. Even then, a hunger. My phone buzzes. A text from Margaret. Vivian's here, asking questions. Be careful. Another buzz, this time from an unknown number. Meet me at the old Hamilton factory, midnight. Come alone if you want the whole story. D. Ryan reads over my shoulder. It's a trap. Obviously, Sophie agrees. Derek's Vivian's puppet. Always has been. I set down the wedding photo. Maybe that's exactly why we should go. They both stare at me. We? Ryan asks. You and me. Sophie stays here, keeps tracking the money. If something goes wrong, I trail off, not wanting to finish the thought. If something goes wrong, I call Dad. Sophie completes it for me. He's got friends in the DA's office. They're already interested in those offshore accounts. Ryan grabs his keys. We should leave now, scout the location before. A knock at the door freezes us all. Through the thin curtains, we can see a familiar silhouette. Arya, Vivian's voice is honey sweet. Darling, I know you're in there. Let's talk about this like family. Sophie quietly closes her laptop. Ryan moves toward the bathroom window. Our planned escape route. I brought something you might want to see, Vivian continues. About your father's construction company. Did you know he bid on Hamilton Properties contracts 3 years ago? Before you met Ryan? My blood runs cold. Dad never mentioned this. Such a shame about those anonymous complaints that killed the bid. Cost him nearly everything, didn't it? Would be terrible if history repeated itself. Ryan grabs my arm as I move toward the door. Don't, he whispers. But I'm already putting pieces together. The timing of Dad's near bankruptcy, the mysterious lost contracts. How convenient it was that Ryan met me just when my family was most vulnerable. 5 minutes, I say to Vivian through the door, alone. Arya, no, Sophie starts. I turn to them both. Get to the factory. I'll meet you there. And if I don't, I hand Sophie the wedding photograph. Look at her eyes. Really look. Then check the dates of every suspicious death around her, not just Charles's father. The bathroom window slides open silently. As they slip out, I count to 10, then open the door. Vivian stands there, elegant as ever, holding a thick folder. Smart girl, she says, finally learning to negotiate. Show me. She hands over the folder. Inside, I find documents proving everything. How she orchestrated my father's financial ruin. How she positioned Ryan to meet me. How she planned it all, years ago. Why, I ask, though I already suspect the answer. Because I needed to know, she says simply. If you were strong enough, if you could survive what I survived, what I had to become. You destroyed my family to test me? She smiles, and I see that hunger from the wedding photo. Stronger now. I made you stronger, like Charles's family made me stronger. The weak don't survive in this world, Arya. I needed to know if my son's wife could survive. I think of the offshore accounts, the suspicious deaths, the years of manipulation. And if I fail your test? Oh, darling. She reaches out to touch my cheek. I force myself not to flinch. You already have. The question now is, what are you willing to do about it? I step back, clutching the folder. I guess you'll find out at midnight. Her smile widens. So Derek reached out. Good. Remember what I said about survival, Arya. Only one of us can. As she walks away, I look down at the folder in my hands. The evidence I needed, handed over freely. Too freely. That's when I realize this isn't just about survival anymore. It's about who's really being tested and who's really doing the testing. The old Hamilton factory looms against the midnight sky, a steel and concrete tomb holding who knows how many secrets. Ryan's hand finds mine in the darkness. We don't have to do this, but we do. Because somewhere in that building, Derek is waiting with answers about Charles, about Vivian, about all the convenient accidents that paved her way to power. The side door creaks open at our touch. Inside, emergency lights cast sickly green shadows across abandoned machinery. Our footsteps echo on metal catwalks. Derek? Ryan calls out. A figure emerges from the shadows, but it's not Derek. It's Margaret, leaning heavily on her walker. Grandmother, Ryan steps forward. What are you? I'm sorry, she whispers. She made me choose. More shadows move. Security guards materialize from every corner. And there's Vivian, elegant even here, Derek at her shoulder, like a well-trained dog. Family, Vivian's voice that carries across the factory floor. Such a complicated thing, isn't it? I grip the folder of evidence she gave me earlier. Where's Sophie? Safe, for now. Vivian descends the metal stairs, each click of her heels like a gunshot, though that depends entirely on you. Ryan moves to shield me, but 2 guards grab his arms. Mother, stop this. Oh, darling, she sighs. I'm trying to save you from becoming your father, from choosing weakness over strength. She turns to me. Show them the folder, Arya. My hands shake as I open it, but the documents inside aren't what she gave me earlier. These are different. Photographs of my father accepting bribes, falsifying contracts, laundering money through his construction company. No, I shake my head. These are fake. Are they? Derek speaks up. Or did you just never want to see the truth? About your father, about Ryan, about yourself. What's he talking about? Ryan demands. Vivian produces another folder. Your father didn't just bid on Hamilton contracts, Arya. He helped me destroy his competitors, helped me cover up Charles's father's accident, all to protect his own interests. She smiles. Like father, like daughter. You're lying. Am I? Ask him yourself. The factory door opens again. My father walks in, looking older than I've ever seen him. Dad? He won't meet my eyes. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I did what I had to do, to protect us, to protect you. And now, Vivian continues, you'll do what you have to do, to protect everyone. She hands me a USB drive, all the evidence of your father's crimes. And Ryan's involvement. Yes, darling, she tells her son. Those contracts you signed last year, not quite as clean as you thought. The pieces fall into place. The arranged marriage, the tests, the manipulation. We were never players in this game. We were pieces being moved across Vivian's board. What do you want? My voice sounds hollow. Sign over your shares in the company. Admit to orchestrating the offshore accounts. Take the fall. She steps closer. Or watch everything you love burn. Don't. Ryan struggles against the guards. Arya, don't. Tick-tock. Derek checks his watch. Sophie's waiting. And those photos of her with the corporate accounts? Very convincing. I look at my father, broken by his own choices. At Margaret, forced to betray her grandson. At Ryan, finally seeing the true cost of his family's legacy. If I do this, I say slowly, everyone else walks away clean? You have my word. Vivian offers a pen and papers. Your word? I laugh, and it sounds like breaking glass. Like Charles had your word? Like his father had your word. Charles was weak, she snaps. Like you're being weak now. Sometimes survival means sacrifice. I take the pen, feel its weight. Think about Sophie, about Ryan, about all the lives Vivian has destroyed in the name of survival. You're right, I say. Sometimes it does. I sign the papers, watch Vivian's triumphant smile, watch my father's shoulders slump in relief, and then I pull out my phone, press play on the recording of everything that just happened, and watch that smile fade. You're not the only one who knows about sacrifice, I tell her. But before anyone can move, a shot rings out. Pain explodes in my shoulder. Through blurring vision, I see Derek lowering a gun, see Ryan breaking free, see Vivian's face transform from shock to something like respect. As darkness closes in, I hear her whisper, now we'll see who really survives. The hospital monitors beep steadily as I open my eyes. Ryan's asleep in the chair beside me, but Sophie stands at the window, phone pressed to her ear. They're moving the board meeting up, she whispers. Tomorrow morning, they're going to vote on the merger before anyone can stop them. I try to sit up, wincing at the pain in my shoulder. Where's the recording? Safe, but Vivian's claiming it was taken under duress. And with Dad's involvement, she trails off. The door opens. Vivian walks in, immaculate as ever. Behind her, Margaret wheels herself into the room, her walker replaced by a wheelchair I've never seen before. Everyone out? Vivian commands. Except Arya. Ryan stirs. I'm not leaving. Yes, you are. Margaret cuts in. Begin. Both of you, this ends now. After they leave, Vivian sits on the edge of my bed, studies me like a specimen under glass. You know what happened to Charles? She asked quietly. You killed him. No. She pulls out an old photograph. He killed himself after he discovered what his father had done. The embezzlement, the fraud, the lives destroyed. His precious moral code couldn't handle the truth about his family's legacy. So you covered it up. I protected what was mine. Her fingers trace the photograph's edge. Like you tried to protect your recording. But there's something you should know about survival, Arya. It's not about who's strongest. The door opens again. Derek enters, but something's different. He's not carrying himself like Vivian's loyal servant anymore. Show her, Vivian commands. Derek hands me a file. Inside are documents spanning decades, all bearing Margaret's signature. Property transfers, bank accounts, death certificates. I don't understand, I start. My mother, Vivian's voice turns bitter, taught me everything I know about his survival, about power. She orchestrated Charles's father's accident, arranged my marriage, shaped me into what she needed me to be. She looks at Margaret's wheelchair outside the door, and now she's doing it again. The truth hits like another bullet. She's been playing us all. For years, Derek confirms. I've been reporting to her, not Vivian. Everything. The toast, the exclusion, the contracts, all designed to test both of you. But why? Because power without purpose is meaningless. Margaret wheels herself back in. And family without strength is doomed to fall. She looks at Vivian. I had to know if either of you were worthy of the legacy, if you could do what needs to be done. And now, I ask. Now we know. Margaret produces a gun, the same one Derek used. One of you walks out of here with everything. The company, the truth, the future. She places it on my bed. Choose. Vivian doesn't move, doesn't reach for the gun, just watches me with those hungry eyes. And suddenly, I understand. This isn't about survival. It's about breaking the cycle. I pick up the gun, point it at Margaret. You're right. Family without strength is doomed. I turn it toward Vivian. But strength without mercy is just another kind of weakness. Then I press play on my phone. Not on the factory recording, but on the conversation we just had. The full confession. Sophie's not the only one who knows how to hack phones, I say, as Margaret's face darkens. The board already has this, along with proof of every manipulation, every crime, every test. It's over. You fool, Margaret snarls. You've destroyed everything. No, Vivian stands slowly. She saved us from becoming you. She takes the gun from my hand, places it out of reach, from destroying ourselves. Security arrives minutes later. As they lead Margaret away, she calls back. You'll regret this, both of you. Some things are worth any price. She's right, Vivian says after they're gone. About the price. She looks at me with something like respect. Welcome to the family, Arya, the real one. I think of all the pain, all the manipulation, all the lives broken in the name of legacy and power. What happens now? Now, she smiles, but it's different. Tired, real. Now we learn how to survive without destroying each other. As she leaves, I notice she's left the old photograph behind. But now I see what I missed before. It wasn't hunger in her eyes back then. It was fear. The same fear I see in my own reflection now. The Hamilton estate sale draws a smaller crowd than expected. I watch from the second-floor window as strangers pick through generations of carefully curated power, reduced now to price tags and lot numbers. Vivian appears beside me, her reflection ghosting against the glass. Margaret's lawyer called. She's refusing visitors. Good. We stand in silence, watching an elderly couple examine a crystal vase, the one Vivian used for her wedding toast at my reception. The memory feels like it belongs to someone else. I found this in Charles's old study. Vivian hands me a leather-bound journal. You should read it. The pages smell of dust and secrets. Charles's handwriting fills each page with observation about his family's corruption, his growing horror at discovering the truth. The last entry is dated 3 days before his death. He was going to expose everything, I realize. Not just his father's crimes, but the whole system. And now you have. Vivian's voice carries no accusation, just tired acceptance. The board voted this morning. The company's being dissolved. Assets redistributed. Footsteps on the stairs. Ryan and Sophie, carrying boxes. My sister's eyes are red-rimmed, but her voice is steady. Dad's paperwork is all sorted. The DA's office is offering a deal. Take it, I tell her. All of it ends here. Ryan sets down his box, pulls out an old photograph album. Look what I found. The images tell a story I never saw before. Vivian as a young mother, teaching Ryan to walk. Margaret watching from the background, always watching. The slow transformation of a family into a fortress. We're selling the house, Vivian announces suddenly. All of it, starting fresh. Where will you go? I ask. She smiles, and for the first time, it reaches her eyes. There's a small town in Oregon. Charles talked about retiring there before, well, before everything. The elderly couple buys the vase. As they carry it out, sunlight catches the crystal, sending rainbow fragments dancing across the walls. I've been thinking about what Margaret said, I say quietly, about survival, about strength. And I think real strength is knowing when to let go. Ryan takes my hand. Outside, the last of the estate sale crowd is dispersing. Soon this house will be empty, its walls no longer echoing with decades of manipulation and fear. There's something else you should know, Vivian says, about your father's company. The contracts weren't all Margaret's doing. Some of them, I chose those targets myself, including your father. The admission should hurt more than it does. But looking at her now, I see something I never expected. Remorse. Why tell me this? Because survival isn't just about living through something, she says. It's about what you become while surviving. Sophie appears with more boxes, but stops short, sensing the moment. The four of us stand there, surrounded by the dismantled pieces of a dynasty built on fear and control. I found this too. Ryan pulls something from his pocket. My pearl necklace from our wedding day. Thought you might want it back. I take it, feel its weight. Then I walk to the window, open it, and let the pearls fall. They scatter across the driveway like drops of rain. Mother would call that wasteful, Vivian observes. No, I correct her. She'd call it weak, but she was wrong about a lot of things. Later, as the sun sets on the empty house, I find Charles's journal again. There's a line underlined near the end. The greatest victory isn't in destroying your enemies, but in refusing to become them. I leave the journal on Margaret's old desk. Let the next owners find it, or not. Some stories need to end for others to begin. As we lock up for the last time, Vivian pauses on the porch. You know she'll never stop, even from prison. Margaret will try to rebuild. Let her try, I say. We have something stronger than her kind of power now. What's that? I look at Ryan, at Sophie, at the woman who was my enemy and is now something else. Something complicated and real. The truth, I answer, and each other. We walk away from the Hamilton estate together, leaving behind empty rooms filled with echoes of vengeance. Some of them might follow us. Some might even catch up one day. But that's tomorrow's survival. The gallery's pristine walls mocked me with their perfection. Each carefully hung piece of my siblings' artwork, a reminder of everything I hadn't achieved. I stood in the corner, clutching my wine glass like a shield, watching my mother fawn over Skylar's latest masterpiece. I'm Marley, and tonight was supposed to be my breakthrough moment. Instead, I was relegated to spectator at my siblings' third solo exhibition this year. The depth of emotion in this piece is extraordinary. My mother gushed to a cluster of art critics. Skylar has always had such natural talent. The wine turned bitter in my mouth. Natural talent. As if the last 15 years of my dedication to art meant nothing. My daughter Riley tugged at my sleeve, her 7-year-old face scrunched in confusion. Mama, why does Grandma never talk about your paintings like that? Before I could answer, my partner Chloe appeared, wrapping an arm around Riley's shoulders. Hey, sweetie, I think I saw some fancy cookies by the entrance. Want to check them out? I shot Chloe a grateful look as she led our daughter away. The crowd shifted, creating a pocket of space near one of Skylar's larger pieces. An abstract explosion of reds and golds that probably had some profound meaning I was supposed to understand. It's derivative, a familiar voice muttered beside me. My friend Everly materialized, wearing a black dress that screamed rebellion against the gallery's understated dress code. Seriously, I've seen better composition in a kindergarten finger painting class. Keep your voice down, I whispered, though her words soothed my bruised ego. The last thing I need is, did you see the write-up in Art Weekly? My brother-in-law Jason's voice carried from behind a nearby sculpture. I froze, recognizing my mother's responding murmur. Yes, they're calling Skylar the voice of our generation, my mother said. Such a relief after. Well, you know how worried we were when both our children wanted to pursue art. Thank goodness one of them had the talent to succeed. The wine glass trembled in my hand. Everly grabbed my arm, but I shook her off, moving closer to hear more. Marley's still doing those little cafe shows, right? Jason asked. At least she has Chloe to support her. Not everyone's cut out for real success in this world. Something hot and ugly unfurled in my chest. I stepped around the sculpture, ready to confront them, when my heel caught on something. A cream-colored envelope lay half-hidden under the installation's base. I snatched it up, my name written across the front in familiar handwriting. Inside was a single sheet of paper, an email printout dated 3 years ago, when I'd been shortlisted for the Carlton Prize. Regarding your inquiry about Marley's submission, the email read, "You're right, her technical skills are questionable. Thank you for bringing these concerns to our attention. We'll be removing her from consideration." The signature belonged to the prize committee chair, but the email was addressed to my sibling. My hand shook as I read it again. 3 years ago, that prize could have launched my career. Instead, I'd received a form rejection letter, leading to months of self-doubt that nearly made me quit painting altogether. "Marley," Skylar's voice cut through my thoughts. My sibling stood before me, champagne glass raised in false celebration. "You look pale. Not feeling well?" I met Skylar's eyes, seeing for the first time the calculation behind the concern. How many other opportunities had been quietly sabotaged? How many doors closed before I could even reach them? "I'm fine," I said, folding the paper carefully and slipping it into my pocket. "Just admiring your work. It must be nice, having everything come so naturally." Skylar's smile flickered for just a moment, enough to confirm what I now knew. This wasn't just about talent or success. This was about systematic destruction, wrapped in family loyalty and tied with ribbons of concern. Well, two could play at that game, and I had nothing left to lose. The email burned in my pocket throughout the mandatory family dinner the following evening. My mother had insisted we all gather to celebrate Skylar's success, as if the gallery opening hadn't been enough. I pushed my food around the plate while my mother detailed every compliment the critics had given my siblings' work. Chloe's empty chair beside me felt like an accusation. Another late night at the office with Jeremiah. "And the way you captured the interplay of light and shadow," my mother continued. "It reminds me of that phase Marley went through in college. Remember those dark, moody pieces?" "They weren't a phase," I said, gripping my fork tighter. "That's still my style." "Oh," my mother's dismissal came wrapped in a delicate sip of wine. "I thought you'd moved past that." Riley, coloring beside me at the table, looked up from her drawing. "I like Mama's dark pictures. They make me feel things." "That's sweet, dear," my mother said. "But you should see what your Aunt Skylar painted at your age. Pure talent, even then." My father cleared his throat. "The pot roast is excellent, Olivia." "Speaking of talent," Jason cut in. "Skylar, tell them about the commission you just landed. The one for the new medical center." The fork bent slightly in my hand. "That commission was supposed to be confidential. I'd applied for it last month." "Oh, it's nothing special," my sibling said with practiced modesty. "Just a series of pieces for their pediatric wing." "Nothing special?" My mother beamed. "It's the largest commission in the city this year." I stood abruptly, my chair scraping against the floor. "Riley, time to pack up your crayons." "But Mama, I want to show everyone my drawing of Aunt Skylar's painting." "Show them, sweetheart," Skylar encouraged. "I'd love to see your interpretation." Riley held up her paper proudly. "See? It's the big red one from the gallery. And look what I found hidden in it." My breath caught as Riley pointed to a series of marks in her drawing. Similar marks I'd seen in Skylar's actual painting, but hadn't paid attention to before. "What do you mean, hidden?" I asked carefully. "The little numbers. They're tucked into all the swirly parts, like a secret code." I counted 7 of them. Skylar's champagne glass clattered against the table. "Such an active imagination," my sibling said quickly. "Kids see patterns everywhere." But I'd seen the flash of panic in Skylar's eyes. Those numbers meant something. My phone buzzed. A text from Chloe. "Sorry, Jeremiah needs me to stay late again. Don't wait up." Everything okay? My father asked. Thinking my expression. Perfect, I lied, helping Riley gather her art supplies. We need to get home, school night. But you've barely touched your food, my mother protested. And Skylar was going to share some exciting news about. I'm sure I'll hear all about Skylar's latest triumph eventually. The bitterness slipped out before I could stop it. It's not like anyone in this family talks about anything else. Silence fell over the table. My father studied his plate while Jason wrapped a protective arm around Skylar's shoulders. Marley. My mother's voice carried that familiar note of disappointment. There's no need for jealousy. Everyone finds their level eventually. Right. I grabbed my coat, helping Riley into hers. And I suppose Skylar found theirs by sabotaging everyone else's chances. What are you implying? Skylar stood, facade cracking slightly. Nothing, yet. I met my sibling's gaze. But maybe we should talk about the Carlton Prize sometime. Or those mysterious numbers Riley noticed in your painting. Mama, Riley tugged at my sleeve. Why is everyone mad? We're not mad, sweetie, Skylar said, voice honey sweet. Your mother's just tired. Making art can be so draining when it doesn't come naturally. I guided Riley toward the door, pausing only to say, you know what else is draining? Maintaining lies. But don't worry, sibling dear. I'm about to make things much easier for you. As we left, I heard my mother asking Skylar what I'd meant about the Carlton Prize, but I was already plotting my next move. Those numbers in the painting weren't random. They were dates, and I had a feeling they'd lead me to every opportunity Skylar had stolen from me. 7 dates, Everly said, spreading printouts across my studio floor. 7 rejections. 7 opportunities that went to Skylar instead of you. The morning light caught dust motes dancing around my easel, where a half-finished canvas waited. I hadn't touched it since discovering the email. Look at this one. Everly pointed to a grant rejection from last spring. The timing matches the 3rd number Riley found in the painting. And guess who was on the selection committee? Let me guess. Someone Skylar knows. Better, someone our mother knows. Everly's dark eyes flashed. The committee chair plays tennis with her every Sunday. I pressed my palms against my temples. That doesn't prove anything. No? Then explain this. She held up her phone, showing a social media post from 2 years ago. My mother, the committee chair, and Skylar at some charity event. The date matched another rejection letter. My phone buzzed. Chloe. Working late again. Jeremiah needs the quarterly reports tonight. Still no Chloe? Everly asked, noting my expression. She's barely been home this week. I tossed the phone aside. Jeremiah's got her working impossible hours. Convenient timing, don't you think? Right when you're closest to exposing. A knock at the studio door cut her off. My childhood friend Marcus stood there looking uncomfortable. Sorry to interrupt, he said. Door was opened downstairs. Marcus. I hadn't seen him in months. What are you doing here? He shifted, not quite meeting my eyes. Heard about the gallery opening and the dinner after. Thought you might need a friend. How did you hear about the dinner? Everly asked sharply. I ran into Skylar yesterday. The air seemed to thicken. You saw my sibling? At the art supplies store. Marcus stepped inside, closing the door. Look, they're worried about you, Marley. Said you've been making accusations. They sent you to spy on me. Bapaying. The betrayal tasted metallic. No, I mean, they mentioned you seemed unstable lately. Unstable. I grabbed one of the rejection letters. Is that what they call discovering years of sabotage? They said you might say something like that. Marcus glanced at the papers scattered across the floor. Come on, Marley. You really think Skylar orchestrated some grand conspiracy? Maybe you're just... If you say jealous, I swear I'll throw you out myself, Everly interrupted. I was going to say struggling. Marcus held up his hands. It's okay to admit when you need help. Skylar mentioned they know a great therapist. Get out. My voice shook. And tell my sibling that if they want to check on me, they can do it themselves instead of sending flying monkeys. After Marcus left, Everly helped me gather the evidence we'd collected. You realize what this means, right? Skylar's scared. They're trying to discredit you before you can expose them. By making me look paranoid. I stared at the numbers Riley had copied from the painting. But they made a mistake hiding these dates in their work. Pride or something else. Speaking of pride, Everly pulled up another social media post. Look who just announced their upcoming solo show at the Hamilton Gallery. My stomach dropped. The Hamilton Gallery had been my dream venue since art school. I'd submitted portfolios every year for a decade. 3 weeks from now, I read aloud. With special guest speaker, Jeremiah Walsh, Chloe's boss, Everly frowned. That can't be coincidence. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Your sibling isn't who you think they are. Meet me at Andrew's studio tomorrow morning if you want proof. Marcus? Everly asked, reading over my shoulder. No, I said slowly. I think it's from my old mentor, but why now? Could be a trap. Or it could be the evidence we need. I looked at my half-finished canvas, then at the dates that marked each stolen opportunity. Either way, I'm done letting Skylar write my story. What are you going to do? I picked up a brush, finally ready to paint again. I'm going to turn their own technique against them. If Skylar can hide messages in their art, so can I. And my exhibition is going to tell the truth about every single one of those 7 dates. Marley? Everly's voice held a warning. Be careful, you're playing with fire. Good, I said, making the first bold stroke across the canvas. It's about time someone got burned. Andrew's studio smelled of turpentine and stale coffee, just as it had during my student days. My old mentor hunched over his workbench, looking smaller than I remembered. I wondered when you'd finally figure it out, he said without turning around. Took you long enough. You knew? The betrayal felt like acid in my throat. All this time you knew what Skylar was doing? Knew? He laughed, a hollow sound. Kid, I was part of it. He pushed a folder across the workbench. Inside were emails, dozens of them, spanning years. My hands shook as I read exchanges between Andrew, Skylar, and various gallery owners, competition judges, grant committees. Why? I managed to ask. Your sibling made me an offer, said they'd fund my retirement, get my work into major collections. He finally turned to face me. I was tired of being the forgotten genius, watching younger artists pass me by. So you helped destroy my career instead. I wrote the recommendations they needed, made the right calls. It wasn't personal. Wasn't personal? I slammed the folder down. You were like a father to me. And look how well that turned out for your real father. Andrew's words hit like a slap. Francis always favored you, didn't he? Maybe Skylar deserved their turn. And my phone buzzed. Chloe again. I ignored it. There's more, Andrew said. About your partner's boss, Jeremiah. He's not just keeping Chloe busy with work. What do you mean? They're planning something. The Hamilton Gallery show isn't just about Skylar's art. He pulled out another document. Look at the investor list. Jeremiah's name was there, along with several shell companies I didn't recognize. But one name made my blood freeze. Chloe's. She's been investing in Skylar's work for months, Andrew said, through Jeremiah's art investment firm. The studio door creaked. I spun around to find Chloe standing there, her face pale. I can explain, she said. How long? My voice sounded distant, even to myself. How long have you been working with them? It's not what you think. Chloe stepped closer. Jeremiah showed me the numbers. Skylar's work is appreciating faster than any other artist in the region. I was trying to secure our future, build something for Riley. By backing the person who's been systematically destroying my career? I didn't know about that part, not until recently. She reached for me, but I stepped back. When I found out, I started gathering evidence. That's why I've been working late. I was trying to protect you. Protect me? I gestured at Andrew's folder. By secretly investing in my sibling's success while I struggled. By watching me doubt myself year after year. There's still time to fix this, Andrew interrupted. The Hamilton show. If certain things came to light, if the right people started asking questions, you want to help now? I laughed bitterly. After years of sabotage, I want to make things right. He pulled out a USB drive. Everything's here: the emails, the doctored recommendations, the financial records, including Jeremiah's less than legal art investment schemes. My phone buzzed again. A text from Everly. "Where are you? Skylar's here at your studio with your mother. They're going through your new work. I have to go." I grabbed the USB drive and folder. My siblings about to get a preview of their own exposure. "Marley, wait!" Chloe called after me. "You don't understand what they're capable of." "No," I turned back one last time. "You don't understand what I'm capable of. And neither does Skylar." I left them both there, my mentor and my partner, two more betrayals to add to the growing list. But their duplicity had given me something valuable: proof. Now I just had to reach my studio before Skylar destroyed the paintings that would reveal everything. As I drove, my phone kept buzzing. Messages from my mother, from Skylar, from Chloe. I ignored them all. Let them worry. Let them wonder what I would do next. They'd all underestimated me for years. Time to show them exactly what that mistake would cost them. I burst into my studio to find Skylar holding one of my new canvases, the one with the hidden dates woven into abstract shadows. My mother stood nearby, frowning at the dark imagery. "These are different," my mother said, more angry than usual. "Put it down." My voice came out steadier than I felt. "I'm trying to understand," Skylar said, not releasing the canvas. "What exactly are you hoping to accomplish with these?" "Funny, I was about to ask you the same thing about sabotaging my career." I pulled out Andrew's folder. "Want to explain these emails? Or should we start with Jeremiah's investment scheme?" My mother stepped forward. "What are you talking about?" "Show her," Everly said from the doorway. "Show them both." I spread the documents across my workbench. Emails, recommendations, financial records, a paper trail of betrayal. My mother's face paled as she read. "This can't be right," she whispered. "Can't it?" I pointed to specific dates. "Every rejection, every missed opportunity, all orchestrated by your perfect child." "You're misinterpreting things," Skylar said, but their hands trembled slightly. "These were business decisions, nothing more." "Business?" I laughed. "Like having Andrew tank my recommendations, like having Chloe invest in your work behind my back." My mother's head snapped up. "Chloe's involved?" "Everyone's involved, Mother. Everyone except you and Dad, though I'm sure you'll find a way to justify it all." "That's enough." Skylar set down the canvas. "You're spinning conspiracy theories because you can't accept that I'm not as talented as you." I grabbed my phone, pulling up photos of Skylar's painting. "Explain the numbers then. The dates hidden in your masterpiece. Quite a coincidence they match every major setback in my career." Silence fell. My mother looked between us, her carefully maintained worldview cracking. "I did what I had to do," Skylar finally said. "You were always Dad's favorite, always the special one. Even when you failed, he believed in you more than me. So you destroyed my career to punish Dad." "I earned my success." Skylar's composure shattered. "Every sabotaged application, every manipulated judgment, it proved I could beat you on any playing field. Even with your raw talent, I won." My mother sank into a chair. "How could you?" "How could I?" Skylar whirled on her. "You taught me. Always pushing, always comparing. Why can't you paint like your sibling? Why aren't you as creative?" Until I found a way to win your approval instead. "By cheating," I said quietly. "By stealing opportunities from others. How many artists did you destroy besides me?" A new voice answered from the door. "Too many." My father stood there holding a manila envelope. "I've suspected for years but couldn't prove it. Until now, then." "Dad?" Skylar's voice wavered. "What do you mean?" "I've been gathering evidence," he said. Working with gallery owners, other artists, building a case." He handed me the envelope. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, Marley. I wanted proof first." Inside were more documents, a pattern of manipulation stretching beyond just my career. Dozens of artists, countless competitions, all corrupted by Skylar's schemes. "The Hamilton Gallery show," my father continued. It's built on fraud, and now we can prove it. You can't do this, Skylar whispered. My reputation. Your reputation. My mother stood. You destroyed lives, used our connections, our trust. I did it for you, Skylar shouted. Everything I did was to be worthy of what? I asked. Their love? Their pride? Look what it cost you. Look what it cost everyone. My phone buzzed. Chloe again. But another message caught my eye. An email from Howard, the gallery owner I'd always seen as a rival. Subject line: let's talk about your siblings show. I looked at my family, my shattered mother, my quietly determined father, my desperate sibling, and made a decision. The Hamilton show opens in 2 weeks, I said. Just enough time to prepare my own exhibition, one that tells the real story. Marley, my father warned, be careful, revenge can. This isn't about revenge anymore. I picked up my paint-stained brush. It's about justice. For everyone they've hurt. I met Skylar's eyes. You taught me how to hide messages in art. Time to show you what else I've learned. Howard's gallery felt different at night, the empty halls amplifying every footstep. He studied my proposal under the harsh track lighting, his expression unreadable. A counter-exhibition, he said finally, opening the same night as your siblings' show. With proof of every manipulation, every stolen opportunity. I spread the evidence across his desk. Not just mine, everyone's. Bold move. He tapped the documents. Also, career suicide if you're wrong. I'm not wrong. No, he agreed. You're not, but there's something you don't know. My phone buzzed. Marcus again. I'd been ignoring his calls since our confrontation at Andrew's studio. Jeremiah isn't just Chloe's boss, Howard continued. He's been buying up smaller galleries. Bob's bought diaries, including mine. By next way, he'll own controlling interest in half the exhibition spaces in the city. The implications hit hard. He's working with Skylar. Smart girl. Why do you think your siblings' show is happening here? My carefully constructed plan crumbled. Without a venue, without a platform. There's more, Howard said. Check your email. A message from the Art Board's Ethics Committee appeared on my phone. My hands shook as I read, investigation into allegations of plagiarism and fraud against me. Skylar filed the complaint this morning with evidence. What evidence? They're using your own technique against you. Those hidden messages in your recent work, they're claiming you stole the idea from them, and they have backdated proof. A knock interrupted us. Marcus stood in the doorway, looking grim. You should have answered my calls, he said. Chloe's gone. What do you mean gone? She took Riley to your mother's, said something about protecting her from what's coming. The room tilted slightly. My daughter is safe, Marcus said, but Chloe's working with Jeremiah now, officially. Howard pushed a document across his desk. The Hamilton show isn't just an exhibition. It's the launch of a new art investment fund. Your partner is listed as managing director. They're not just trying to stop you, Marcus added. They're trying to erase you. My phone buzzed again. Everly this time. 911. Someone broke into your studio. All your new work. Marley, it's gone. The floor seemed to drop away. Months of work. All my evidence woven into paintings. There's still a way, Marcus said quietly. Remember what we discussed about making sure Skylar never recovers? What's he talking about? Howard asked. He has proof of tax fraud, I said. Enough to send Skylar to prison. Along with Jeremiah and half the art scene, Marcus added. One anonymous tip. Howard studied me. That would destroy more than careers, families, lives, including your daughter's family name. But Skylar would finally pay, Marcus pressed. Isn't that what you wanted? I thought of Riley, of Chloe, of my mother's broken expression when she learned the truth, of my father's quiet gathering of evidence, choosing justice over vengeance. No, I said, not like this. Then what's your play? Howard asked. They have everything. The venues, the narrative, your partner, your work. Not everything. I pulled out my phone, dialing a number I'd memorized years ago. They don't have the truth. Who are you calling? The one person who can still reach Skylar. The one person who started all this with their constant comparisons and pressure. My mother answered on the first ring. Marley, Riley's asking for you. Mom, I cut her off. I need your help. And this time you have to choose a side. Silence stretched between us. Then, what do you need? Your confession. About how your favoritism drove Skylar to this. About everything you saw but ignored. Will you do it? Another pause. Yes, she said finally. It's time. I looked at Howard. Still have that contact at the Arts Journal? He nodded slowly, understanding dawning. A mother's confession would be compelling. More than compelling, Marcus said. It would be devastating. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Skylar. Last chance to back down. Don't make me destroy everything you have left. I typed back 3 words. Too late, sibling. The game wasn't over. It was just changing rules. The Hamilton Gallery hummed with opening night energy. Skylar's exhibition foiled the main space, while my hastily arranged response show occupied the smaller side gallery, a compromise Howard had negotiated at the last minute. I stood before my centerpiece, a triptych of dark canvases, each hiding dates and documents beneath layers of paint that would become visible under the right light. They're here, Everly whispered, appearing at my side, all of them. Through the gathering crowd I spotted them. Jeremiah leading a group of investors, Chloe at his side looking uncomfortable, my mother near the entrance, clutching her prepared statement, Andrew hovering uncertainly between the 2 galleries, and finally, Skylar, moving through their admirers with practiced grace. Ready? Howard asked, finger hovering over the lighting controls. I nodded, and the gallery lights dimmed. UV lights activated, revealing the hidden elements in my paintings. Every piece of evidence, every manipulated competition, every stolen opportunity glowing in phosphorescent paint. Gasps rippled through the crowd as they realized what they were seeing. Skylar froze mid-conversation, face draining of color. Ladies and gentlemen, Howard announced, welcome to Truth in Shadow, a special exhibition about artistic integrity. My mother stepped forward, hands shaking as she unfolded her statement. But before she could speak, Jeremiah cut through the crowd. This is a publicity stunt, he announced. Ms. Marley here is under investigation for plagiarism. Actually, my father's voice rang out as he emerged from the crowd. The investigation has been dropped. The ethics committee received some very interesting evidence this morning. Chloe broke away from Jeremiah's side, moving toward me. Marley, I can explain. Not now, I said quietly. Watch. The central canvas began to shift under the UV light, revealing a hidden image, Skylar's signature technique, dated years before they claimed to have invented it. Proof they had stolen it from one of the artists they'd destroyed. That's impossible, Skylar breathed. Is it? I turned to face my sibling, like it was impossible for you to manipulate Andrew, to use Jeremiah's money to buy control of galleries, to convince Chloe that betraying me was for our daughter's good. I did what I had to do, Skylar snapped. You have no idea what it's like living in your shadow. My shadow, I laughed. While you were stealing opportunities, buying success, I was fighting for every scrap of recognition. The shadow was yours, built on lies and manipulation. Enough. Jeremiah moved to intervene, but Howard stepped forward. I wouldn't, he said. The Arts Journal livestream has been running since the doors opened. Everything's being broadcast. The crowd parted as my mother approached Skylar. I did this, she said, voice breaking. My favoritism, my pressure. I turned you into this. Mother, don't. The truth, Skylar. For once, something cracked in my siblings' carefully maintained facade. I just wanted to make you proud, they whispered. By destroying others, my father joined us. By hurting your own family? Family? Skylar gestured at the revealing paintings. Look what Marley's doing right now. I'm showing the truth, I said. Something you taught me, remember? Hidden messages in art? A small voice cut through the tension. Mama? Riley stood in the gallery entrance, having slipped away from our neighbor, Amy's supervision. She looked at the glowing paintings, then at her other mother. Chloe, I said softly, take her home. No, Skylar interrupted. Let her stay. Let her see what her mother's revenge looks like. This isn't revenge, I said, meeting my sibling's eyes. It's justice. For every artist you destroyed, every dream you stole, the truth doesn't destroy people, Skylar. Lies do. The gallery erupted in camera flashes as reporters pushed forward, questions overlapping. But above the chaos, I heard Howard's quiet words. Check your phone. A message waited from an unknown number. Your work speaks truth to power. When you're ready to show it properly, the Venice Biennale has an opening. I looked up to find Skylar staring at me, their carefully constructed world crumbling around them. But in their eyes, beneath the anger and fear, I saw something else. Relief. The truth, finally exposed, had set us both free. The Venice sun painted my new studio in shades of gold as I added the final touches to my latest piece. A knock at the door made me pause, brush hovering over canvas. Still hiding in here? Everly asked, stepping inside. The water taxi's waiting. Riley's already bouncing with excitement about the opening. I studied my work. No hidden messages this time, just raw truth on canvas. Is everyone here? Your parents arrived this morning. Andrew's been pacing the gallery since dawn. Even Howard flew in from New York. She hesitated. And Skylar sent something. My hand tightened on the brush. What? A letter, and one of their early pieces. From before, everything. The painting sat wrapped in brown paper, propped against the wall. Beneath it lay a sealed envelope. Have you heard from Chloe? I asked, cleaning my brush. She's doing well in her new gallery. Riley loves visiting her there on weekends. Everly touched my shoulder. You made the right choice, letting her go. I know, and I did. Some betrayals couldn't be undone, but they could be forgiven. For Riley's sake, if nothing else. The letter felt heavy in my hands as I opened it. Dear Marley, I spent years trying to escape your shadow, only to cast a darker one. The truth you exposed didn't destroy me. It freed me. I'm starting over, teaching art to children. They see beauty without competition, creation without corruption. Maybe that's something I needed to learn. Skylar, I unwrapped the painting, a small piece from our college days, before ambition and jealousy poisoned everything. Two figures, faces turned toward a bright horizon. We should go, Everly said softly. They're waiting. The gallery buzzed with anticipation. My mother stood with my father near the entrance, her therapy-strengthened smile, genuine as she hugged me. Andrew hovered nearby, his redemption found in mentoring young artists, warning them about the industry's darker sides. Ready? Howard asked, appearing at my elbow. I nodded, and he signaled the staff. The lights dimmed, but this time there were no hidden revelations, no accusations glowing in the dark. Instead, each canvas told a story of recovery, of truth's aftermath, of shadows transformed into light. Mama, look! Riley tugged my hand, pointing to a small painting near the end. Is that me? The piece showed a child's hands holding broken pieces of a mirror, each shard reflecting something different: family, art, truth, forgiveness. I'd painted it the day Chloe and I signed our divorce papers. You inspired it, I told her. You showed me how to see clearly. Speaking of seeing clearly, my father approached, holding another envelope. This came for you, and inside was a single sheet of paper, a list of names, and contact information. Artists Skylar had sabotaged over the years. Each one now offered a chance at redemption through Howard's new foundation. Your sibling provided the list, my father said, and the funding. And Jeremiah, facing charges for investment fraud. Turns out your exposure inspired quite a few whistleblowers. The gallery filled with critics, collectors, and artists. Some familiar, some new. No hidden agendas, no secret competitions. Just art, honest and raw. My mother touched my arm. I've been thinking about shadows lately, she said. How we cast them without realizing. How they distort everything they touch. I'm sorry I couldn't see clearly before. We all cast shadows, I replied. The trick is learning to paint with them. Later, as the evening wound down, I found Skylar's painting again. Those two figures, facing the horizon, not running from shadows, but walking toward light. A new message appeared on my phone. Some truths take time to understand. Thank you for showing me mine. S. I looked around the gallery, at my daughters sketching in a corner, my parents talking with Howard, Everly arranging my next showing. The shadows were still there, but they didn't dominate anymore. They were just another color on the palette, another layer of depth in the greater picture. I picked up my brush again. There were more stories to tell, more truths to paint, but this time I'd create them in full light, letting the shadows fall where they may.